Hi, George here, and I'm going to be answering a question about resizing images I got in comments. Basically, the question is, can you take a square pattern, I'll just be using this one here, and then change that size up to standard paper size, which we have right back there. This is 8.5 by 11. And then can you batch process this whole concept? Now, there are several things involved in this. First one is, what kind of pattern do you have? Is it a repeating pattern? Do the edges matter on your pattern? Things like that. Is it critical that it stays the same shape or size? So before we discuss all that, just wanted to mention that I have a complete training course for Affinity Photo, and you can find a link for that in the description. And I cover the whole program in that training course, so take a look at that. Okay, now what I have here, let's take this background. I'll just drag the background over here and drop it on like that. It's a much smaller file, as you can see, but that's okay for our work in here. Also, notice that color shift in there that's happening. It's a lot pinker over here. It's a lot duller over here. This is an RGB image here. This is a CMYK back there. If you're planning on printing, it's going to be CMYK. So one of the things you want to keep in mind is that RGB colors are a lot brighter than CMYK colors, so you may lose some color vibrancy. You can adjust for that, but you will still lose some color vibrancy. Okay, so I have our picture in here. Let's just unlock that layer. And the first question is, can we get this sized up properly? Now, if I put this down here, bottom left-hand corner like that, I'll land it like that. And I'll drag this up so it's the right size. You can see what happens. It doesn't fill the whole page. Now, there are ways of compensating for this. Two basic ways. One, we could duplicate this image, right-click, and let's duplicate that layer. There we go. I'll take this duplicated layer and put it over here. And depending on your pattern, this may or may not work. In this case, that's not very good. We see that line right there, so I can't just extend it this way. But if the pattern is a nice repeating pattern, you could do that and it'll work out okay. But keep in mind that if you do a repeating pattern this way, it's not going to be repeating along this edge here with that edge there. That's no longer going to fit. Top and bottom will still work, but your left and your right will no longer be repeating edges. Our other option in here is just to stretch this out to fill the whole page like that. It still looks just fine. We still retain the look of our image. It is distorted a little bit, but that may not be an issue. In that case, that's fairly easy to do. Now, the other way to do this, let's just Control Z back so it's square. Other way, I'll back out a little bit here, take a corner, and I'll stretch this out so that the overall picture is now 11 inches wide, and then just find a good center position for that. So we're basically cropping in a little bit on the image, and that gives us, again, a full image out here. So I have a couple of choices. We can either distort this image, or we can enlarge it and then crop in. Now the question is, which way do you want to go with this? And can that technique be batch processed? Let's just bring this down a little bit like this. I have it kind of on our page here, and Control 0 to fit screen. There we go. Let's take a look at our batch processing options over here. File, and new batch job. And you can see here we do have a width and height adjustment right there. So I can make the image into a stretched image. This would allow me to do the basic one where I'm stretching the image to fill the whole screen. That works out just fine. You can easily batch process that. If I want to make this background image larger to 11 inches and then crop in, I can't do that right from here, but I can make macros. Just cancel this out. Go up here to Window and come down to Macro. And in here, I can record some steps. So what I can do there is I can take the original image, bring it back up again here, take this image, enlarge this so that the sides are at 11 inches, and then crop that down to the 8.5 by 11. So I could do that as a macro. And I can then repeat that macro. So that's then cropping in on this image. So the two things I can do, both of those work off of the original, and both those can be done using batch processing. First one is easy, File, New Batch Job. Simply choose your output format here and then put in the width and height you want. Let's just do 8.5 by 11. It would then fit the image to that size, basically stretching the image to fit. That's easy to do. If you wanted to take this and enlarge it up to 11 inches and then crop in, you can do that by using a macro and then using that macro in your batch processing. So that'd be going up here to Window, come down to Macro right here. We see it on our left-hand side. Hit the Start Record button. It's recording now. Let's change our image size. Go up to Document, Resize Document. I want to set this one to inches, and I'll resize this to 11 inches. Notice that's locked here, so those match. Choose Resize. There we go. It's now 11 inches wide, so I can do that much. I then need to crop this in. Let's go up to the crop tool right here. And in our crop up here, we'll do 8.5 by 11 right here, 8.5 by 11. So there's our crop. Now, if you want to do that horizontally, just switch these two around. I'll just make this one 11 and make this one 8.5 over here. And there's our horizontal crop. And then simply click apply. Now, notice that this is in the middle. In most cases, that should be okay. If that doesn't work for you, you can move your crop down, reposition your crop just like that, and click apply. We can then go ahead and do stop recording. And we've now recorded that as a macro. Click right here, add to library, and give it a name. I'll just call it resize and crop to 8.5 by 11. Put it in the default category, choose OK. And we can now use that inside of our batch processing. Let's go ahead, we'll take a look at that. Let's just take this, I'm going to Control Z back out of this or back up to our square image right like this. Go up to File, come down to New Batch Job, bring in your source images over here, and then on Available Macros, just come down here and find the one that you recorded right there. You can then apply that to everything. Here we go. That's now applied, and it will then take all the images here and apply that macro to all of those images. So two different options on this. And depending upon your needs, one of those two should work out pretty well. Now, if you like this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Also, subscribe so you don't miss any videos in the future. And I'll see you next time.